The year was 1954. With their sturdy, broken-down microphones, they were headed for greatness in the American West. Jack and Ron in the morning. If you don't laugh like this, you're probably normal.
The following entertainment special contains mature subject matter. Parents may consider some of the program content unsuitable for children. Parental discretion is advised.
It's the Bad Boys of Radio. Here's Jack and Ron.
And welcome to podcast number 32 with Jack and Ron. Jack Damn Elliott, Ron Damn Williams, America's two favorite jackasses.
How you doing?
Also known as the poison of the broadcast industry, the cancer of the broadcast community.
And that's the nice stuff.
And we're really proud of those monikers.
Yeah.
I guarantee you.
There's one thing I wanted to do. I was looking at our sheet. I didn't see it on here. We have to say goodbye to one of the greatest artists ever who passed away. I believe it was today. It was Roy Clark.
Roy Clark.
Roy Clark.
85 years old.
Yep, and
He
died in
out.
Tulsa,
Yeah.
as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
So, whoa. I'm trying to remember. Didn't we meet him? I thought we met him.
I know I
at
did.
one point.
Because years ago
Yeah.
when I was doing a country radio station gig, I was backstage at Hee Haw 25th anniversary show, and I was a part of the whole thing.
Every
because-
time you say that, I turn around and look at you, and I say, hee-haw?
Hee-haw.
Oh, okay.
I know. And it was up at the Lazy E Arena. Roy Clark was there along with everybody in country music, from Vince Gill to the Sweethearts of the Rodeo, who Vince was married to one of them at the time. My God, Tanya Tucker, Roy Acuff, who of course is dead too. But all those people, and I met Roy Clark back there.
Boxcar Willie?
I met Box a number of times.
All right.
Box, and then, of course, that tiger by the tail, Buck Owens, was there as well. So, it's too bad because Roy Clark was, although, most people associate him with Hee Haw, he was a tremendous guitarist and banjo player.
Yes.
He really could play.
So, hey, salute to you, Roy.
There you go. Also, I want to thank Chad Lunsford, the man who's in charge of this whole operation. Look at this incredible set. Is this phenomenal? This is Chad's doing. He owns a company called 616. They do phenomenal production.
And he's behind the camera right now, and he's smiling because he said, yeah, I put a lot of time, I put a lot of effort, I put a lot of any and everything into making sure that this podcast goes as we want it to. And we appreciate that.
Yeah.
man.
And we also have to say thanks to Brandon, his associate, his assistant, who's still, at this point, a high school student, but extremely knowledgeable in the world of production and that sort of thing. His name is Brandon, and he goes to Moore High School.
Now, are you, let's see, you walk, in May, June?
You graduating?
Okay.
May, okay.
At that point, man, you'll have to come around and let us see you in your cap and gown.
There you go.
I think that would be great.
All right, we got to congratulate our winner this week of the Louis certificate and some Krispy Kreme donuts. This week, the winner is Cliff Davis.
What?
Good old Cliff.
Oh.
Cliff Davis, yeah. Local radio personality who now is worldwide on the iHeart network, streaming and all that. And we, Ron and I, were on Cliff's show this past Saturday. He had us on to talk about our careers in the business and how things are going now.
Did he get a chance to talk at all?
No, we gave him a little room. We had a great time. We'll tell you more about that in a little while as well. Also coming up on the show, we got Mike Evans with his Hollywood Report. We've got News of the I'll Be Damned, Dumbass Joke of the Day. Roy, the movie guy, will be with us, and other elements as well. First, we got to kick it off, as we always do, with two tough trivia.
Not going to make it too hard on you. At least I feel it's not too hard on you. But, of course, get down, get your Google, and get your friends together, or maybe you're just smarty. We don't know. Here we go. Question number 1. Who's faster, coyotes or roadrunners?
I'm going to go with,
Coyotes or roadrunners?
I'm going Roadrunner.
Okay. Question number 2. Female senators were not allowed to wear pants on the Senate floor until what year?
1968.
And finally, the last state to change its capital, actually change its capital, was what?
Last state to change its capital.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm here. Well, let's
Oklahoma?
change it. Let me change it.
Could it be Oklahoma?
Well, I'll put it this way. Of the 3 questions, 1 you answered was correct.
Hello. All right. Great. We'll get to the answers here at the end of the podcast. So hang in there, hang with us, because we're into part 1 right now, and then part 2 we'll have the answers for Too Tough Trivia. Also want to congratulate a number of people who've been named top major companies in the country. Real quick, Bank First is at number 10. One Oak is number 6. Paycom is at number 5.
Really?
And number 1 is Continental Resources. And our company, our former company, Cumulus Media, it made the list, but it's a little further down.
How much further?
Well, it's right between Family Dollar and Rent-A-Center. So it did make the list. Congratulations to you guys over there at Cumulus.
You should be partying right now.
You got it, baby. All right. Let's talk about other businesses, including PBR, Pabst Blue Ribbon. I've got the story here.
Oh, sad
You heard the
story,
stories?
man. Yeah, that is a sad story
Really
coming up.
unfortunate because
And,
it looks like PBR could be going away.
Yeah, and see, PBR, the first time I remember seeing it, I was living with my grandparents at the time, and they had some neighbors next door. And at that time, in the neighborhood we were living in, you go to the fence, and you can basically just knock on somebody's front door.
Right.
They were that close together. And these two old ladies, I don't know if they were sisters or what, but they would sit there on that front porch, and they'd have a cigarette in one hand and a PBR in the other.
That's awesome.
And it was like, wow, this is good. And they never bothered anyone. I was happy.
Well,
about
what's
that.
happened is Pabst's deal with Miller Coors started in 1999. They have a contract deal, and it's scheduled to end in December of 2020. And Miller Coors says they'll only renew it for almost triple the price. So if PBR can't come up with the money, there won't be any more PBR. The only other company that could handle Pabst Blue Ribbon would be Anheuser-Busch. But they don't do contract brewing, so we're not sure
Yeah, we
PBR
have
will be
to,
along.
yeah.
So stock up right now. Meanwhile,
Wait, Pabst Blue Ribbon. What else is from way back? Pabst has been around for
It's been a long
forever.
time, no doubt about it. Pabst has been around for a long,
Yeah,
long
so I was
time.
just curious. But at any rate, be warned. Maybe go ahead and stock up on some.
And we got a PBR commercial for you. Not a current one, because you haven't seen any PBR commercials in a long time. But this is one from the 50s, I believe.
What do you have? Pabst Blue Ribbon. What'll you have? Pabst Blue Ribbon. When a waitress glides up to your place with a pretty smile upon her face, here's the way to really romance her. Give her that Pabst Blue Ribbon answer. What do you have? Pabst Blue Ribbon.
What'll you have?
Pabst Blue Ribbon. What do you have? Pabst Blue Ribbon. Pabst Blue Ribbon beer.
Smoother, smoother, smoother flavor. Zest and sparkle, million flavor. Taste that smoother, smoother flavor.
Pabst Blue Ribbon beer.
Finest beer served anywhere. Prove it yourself. Make the three-way experts test. 1, see the clear color. Look at the creamy head. 2, sniff that fragrant Blue Ribbon blend. 3, taste the flavor the whole world knows. And you'll agree, finest beer served anywhere.
What do you have?
Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Wow.
Well, now, am I tripping? Or how long was that commercial?
I think it was a 60, but it seemed like a 2-minute spot.
Yeah, it
Well,
did. It was like, man, that's
I
a
think-
long commercial.
I think it was roughly 60 seconds, yeah. So anyway, drink up your PBR and start stocking up on it because it's about to go away if nobody else picks up the contract. And Miller Coors wants almost triple the price to pick up that contract.
Well, you know what? If nothing else, get a can, and after a while, you won't be able to drink it anyway. But stick it somewhere that you'll have it sort of as a memento. I mean, we did the same thing with we had mash beer, and we had
Right.
all different types of beers that
Billy Beer from Billy Carter.
right,
Jimmy
right,
Carter, former
right.
president's brother.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff.
I've still got a full can, never been opened, of Billy Beer and Mash 4077 beer.
Yeah,
from
so I've got that in
TV.
my garage too, and some bottles of some stuff that the labels almost all of it, off of it. But at
That's
any
just
rate,
called Shine.
but hey, why not go out and get a can, and buy, if everyone did that, they might be able to stay in business.
Yeah, if you start buying more of the stuff.
Yeah, and just stick it up and say, hey, I have a can of Pabst Blue Ribbon.
And it is one of the least expensive beers on the market, and it's still pretty good. I mean, I've had a PBR in the last year or so, and I didn't complain. So there you have it. Oh, let's talk about other food products.
Yeah.
Jimmy Dean, the Sausage King, Jimmy Dean.
Ah,
He
yeah.
passed away a few years ago, but his company runs on. Jimmy Dean just created sausage-scented Christmas wrapping paper. Just when you think there weren't
I heard about
you
that.
thought there weren't any new ideas going around? Well, nobody said they were good new ideas, but anyway, something like this comes around and reinvigorates your faith in the American ingenuity. Jimmy Dean just created a new Christmas wrapping paper that smells like sausage. Now, it must be some. What would be the point in having that under the tree? Wouldn't you think the dog would be over there ripping it apart?
I was about to say, I think it's to throw off the drug dogs.
Yeah. That's not a bad idea. Well, if you want it, you can go to a website. It's called Jimmy Dean Gift Exchange, JimmyDeanGiftExchange.com. And you can submit a picture of you cooking one of their sausage recipes and choose the wrapping paper as your gift. And
I just think about that. If Jimmy was still alive, would he sign off on that?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either, because he was real kind of down home, putting my boots up on the banister and just watch the sun
Jimmy
go
would have
down.
signed off on that.
No, I don't think so either.
Not at all.
And you know what? Now that I heard about it, I'm not real thrilled with it either.
Hey, you mentioned a guy who passed away just today, which was Roy Clark. Another guy that passed away this week, Stan Lee.
Man.
Magnificent comic book dude. The Avengers, the whole thing that he created, very impressive. He lived to be, 95. I mean, he used most of the runway. And one of the guys I was talking to at the liquor store, Travis, who runs the liquor store by me, he was, he's a real movie aficionado. He knows more about movies than anybody I know. Anyway, he was saying, people have come up to me and said, man, I can't believe he died. And he says, I look at him and go, hell, he was 95, know. And I know
but remember now,
longer now.
He didn't really, hit the springboard until late in life.
Yeah.
His early years, he was spent trying to make it. And for those who don't know, Spider-Man, X-Men, Hulk, Thor, Iron Man, and that's just one hand.
Yeah,
I can fill up this hand too, but I'm not. But
and I know
those
everybody's
are the
got
guys.
a favorite, but my favorite was always the Hulk. I just really liked the Hulk. I thought that was such a cool concept.
Yeah.
Anyway, Stan Lee passes away at the age of 95. I was thinking about somebody else who passed away, and I'm trying to remember. But
While you're thinking about that, one of the final Stan Lee,
Yeah.
He appears, he does little cameos in all of the major Marvel movies. And the very first one, the guy didn't want him in it. It was a Spider-Man movie.
Oh, the director?
Yeah, he didn't want him in it. He says why? Who knows? Who cares who this guy is? And it turned out to be such a big hit. Sort of an inside thing, because people, they know who Stan Lee, was.
Right.
That he now was in all of the major Marvel movies from that point on. So it just goes to show you, hey, I'm a big-time Hollywood producer, and I don't know squat.
And I got to tell you one other thing about Stan Lee. This is what I was thinking about when I said it had to do with somebody who'd passed away. It was Stan Lee, in fact. I heard an interview with him some time back. Stan Lee would not really like to tell people what he did for a living, especially early on. People would come up to him at a party or whatever and say, so what do you do? And he'd say, I'm a writer. And then he'd try to walk away and get away. And they'd come follow him. And, well, what do you write? And he'd say, children's books. And then he'd try to dart away again because he just didn't like the idea of being associated as a writer with being a comic book writer.
Wow.
Well, but
that's
look what,
crazy,
yeah,
man. Because he was the first one, as he said, to show heroes who are not above it all, but have the same problems and the things that we go through, they would go through, and he would, showcase them.
Well, he did say later in life he was really happy to go ahead and let them know
it
what
was
he did.
then.
Because at that point he was so successful and everybody knew his work.
Yeah, and one of his biggest, biggest stars that didn't really blossom until, was it this year, late last year and this year, that he came up with was Black Panther.
Black Panther.
Yeah,
That's
was
right.
that was Stan Lee, man.
Yeah. I got something else I want to touch on real quick. The most trusted TV news anchors in America. And my favorite is listed at the top as the most trusted news anchor.
Well, let me get
You've got that in your
let me get my
Hollywood
pen here.
News. All right. Sorry about that.
You go right ahead, man. It's fine.
Long ago when NBC replaced Tom Brokaw because Tom retired, when they replaced him with Brian Williams, I thought, no, Lester Holt is the man, because Lester Holt to me has always been, right now and for the past few years, the top TV news anchor in the country.
Consummate professional.
Well, anyway, he's at the top of the list of the very most trustworthy news anchor in the country. Now, Those who are not, I want to hear the list of those who didn't.
Oh, we have that much time?
Yeah, well, number one on the list of least trusted, Sean Hannity. And I can believe that. Rachel Maddow, man, I don't know.
I'm a little surprised about that.
I am too.
Yeah.
And then Don Lemon, who I really like a lot.
I think they put her in there just to balance things out a little bit.
Now, Laura Ingraham, yeah, probably. Chris Cuomo, Juan Williams, I don't know. They put some of these people. I question some of them.
Yeah.
Now, Mika and Joe, Morning Joe, Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski. I kind of think Mika's kind of hot, though.
Yeah, but is she a good journalist?
I
there are a lot of people that just look at the face and they don't hear the words.
Yeah.
What about you? I think you're a face looker.
I probably am. And I put a lot of trust in somebody that looks good. Kate Upton could do the news, and I'd say, oh, yeah, she's a trustworthy journalist.
That explains a few things here in this market.
All right. Speaking of news and other things going on, we got to get to our email.
Yeah, people have problems, and they don't know what to do. They're walking around in their homes right now, maybe opening up a PAPS. You never know. We're here for you.
Yeah.
We're your PAPS substitute.
When people have problems, people have issues, they go to the individuals who can best help them out. Not Dr. Phil, and not Dr. Laura or any. They come to Jack and Ron. Here's your email.
Dear Jack and Ron, my coworker farts all the time.
Oh, God.
He says it's a gastric problem that his doctor's working on. He says he can't help it. Now, a bunch of us are talking cork. What do you guys think?
Cork?
What do you guys think about this? I think he was kidding about the cork.
Okay, because don't they have those charcoal panty liners?
Yes,
that you
they
can
do.
Put in there
I think they have it for your underwear and for your seat.
To kill the aroma if you do have a gastrointestinal issue.
And if it doesn't kill his aroma, good God.
Oh, my.
You know what? Number one, you can always change your job. But why should you have to change your job because this guy has a gas problem?
And now my question
Maybe talk
would be,
to the manager. Have the manager come over and stand near your desk. Stand all near all of your desks for a while and let him see what's going on and, artfully throw the problem into his lap.
let him experience it firsthand.
Yes.
Now, my question will be, in the case of a guy like this who has an extremely bad flatulence problem, does he have to pay more when he goes through a colonoscopy? It's just a question, because you got to figure the doctors and nurses working on that have got to.
Well, all the cleanup. You have to
pre-clean, yeah.
Yeah, don't you think that maybe would help that problem? Because
I would hope.
It's a tough thing, to be in the operating room and all of a sudden you let one fly.
Yeah.
Not your fault. You're unconscious. But
I think a lot of people probably do let them fly, but that's part of that, whatever that oath is that the medical people take, to not
Hippocratic
talk.
oath?
Hippocratic oath, yeah.
Well, maybe. Well, you can always tell. If the doctor comes by to see how you're doing and tell you everything is okay, that's one thing. But if the nurse comes by and tells you, everything, then you probably offended the doctor.
Yeah. So if you did squeeze one off during surgery, they're probably not too
happy with you.
Right, and so look for the bill to be a little bit increased.
All right, we got one more.
Okay.
Dear Jack and Ron, my husband has asked for a divorce, but he won't leave. There's no sex. Understand this now. He sleeps on the couch, but he still tells me where he's going. He'll ask to have time with me, ask me out for dinner or anything like that.
That's nice.
He's really a nice guy at this point. I'm seeing a part of him that I haven't seen before. What do I do now? He asked for a divorce.
Wait, he asked for the divorce, and yet he's not leaving.
Yeah, he's not leaving. Obviously, no place to stay.
But I would think if he asked for the divorce, he'd have somewhere to go.
And wait a minute. If he asked for a divorce, why are you allowing him to stay there?
Or why haven't you left?
Yeah.
Why does he have to get kicked out?
Well, here's what I suggest you do. Bring a guy over.
Oh.
Bring a guy over and let him know he can't go to sleep early on the couch because you two will be using the couch to sit and watch TV or whatever. And you'll find out how much does he really want a divorce. He could be thinking things over again and realize what a mistake he made, or either his attorney told him, this is how much you're going to pay each month. And he says, whoa, wait a minute. She doesn't look that bad. Things aren't that bad. So,
well, there you have it.
Oh, man.
Answers to the big questions of the day. All right. Time to talk about Kurt Russell, because Kurt Russell was just on
one of my favorite actors, man.
On Kimmel's show talking about seeing a UFO. I believe Kurt Russell was flying and he was private piloting a plane, if I'm not mistaken, in Phoenix. Ron and I talked about this, well, way back when it first happened. We talked extensively about this because I've got family in Phoenix who also witnessed this giant V-shaped lighted bar or whatever type deal it was. Everybody said it was, and even police officers and what have you saw this thing and admitted it was an object they couldn't identify.
As a matter of fact, they said first they said size of a football field.
Yeah.
But then again, some experts who based a lot upon what they saw as far as pictures and video, because there's plenty of pictures and video of this thing, said it was about a mile long.
Can you believe that?
Wow.
Anyway, here's Kurt Russell talking about that. Now, this is from years ago, although the interview was just done within the last week or so. He's talking about this incident from years ago in Phoenix. Here's Kurt Russell.
Bank of lights, 6 lights in the shape of a triangle right over the airport. So anyway, I called up the tower and I said, what are you guys painting tonight over the airport? And they said, we're not showing anything. What are you seeing? I said, well, there's 6 lights in a row. And they said, do you want to report this? And I said, look, I can't identify it. It's flying and it's 6 objects. So that's what it is, right? Years later, I come home and Goldie's watching this show on UFOs. And the most reported one of all time was this one in Phoenix. And I start to see this show and I said, that's the night Ollie and I were landing in Phoenix. I remember that. And on the show, they talked about 20,000 people reporting it and only 1 general aviation pilot. And I said, that's me. Right? So I'd never thought about it from the time I landed until I saw that TV show.
Really?
I thought that was kind of bizarre.
That's when you know you have an interesting life, when you go like, yeah, UFO.
There you go.
Yeah. Now,
Kurt
here's
Russell.
something a lot of people may not realize, but it is true. Both Jack and I have seen UFOs.
Yes, we have.
And it was crazy, man. I mean, absolutely nuts. And the last one I think I saw was maybe a couple of years ago. I was sitting on the patio. And
Having a Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Oh, no, we're going to glass bottles of other stuff. But at the same time, I was just looking, and all of a sudden, there was this huge orange orb. And I'm saying, wait a minute. I said, is something wrong with the electrical, poles or something like that? It was higher and bigger than a sign for a business. And so I asked my wife to turn around and say, look, do you see that? Yeah, I see it. I said, how about a little excitement? Hey, I see it. Anyway, I went to get a camera, but by the time I got back, it was like gone, just like that.
Okay, my experience, and I'll real quick wrap this up, was 1972, I believe. I'm driving to Phoenix, 2 other people in the vehicle. I'd rented a brand new vehicle to drive to Phoenix, so we shouldn't have any electrical problems, right, And as we're on I-40 between Thoreau and Gallup, New Mexico, all of a sudden, the power in the car starts surging, on, off, and then all of a sudden it dies. I pull off the road and realize, as I pull off the side of I-40, there are 20 or 30 other vehicles, including semi-tractor trailers, and they're all out of their vehicle looking up at this object in the sky, which appeared to be sort of a Goodyear blimp-size object, but with a big flame coming out, and it was totally silent. So you say, well, yeah, most blimps are silent, but this was not a blimp. And we could not believe that other people had the same electrical issue in their vehicle. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, it stayed there for a long time, just gone. And immediately, all the vehicles worked again. All the electronics, everything was fine. Never had another problem the entire trip with that vehicle.
Yeah, something that a lot of people don't realize, and I can see why a lot of law enforcement won't talk about it. I was speaking with a highway patrolman, and he says it's not unusual. At one point, it wasn't unusual for them to try to chase them. Are you ready for this? Right down the Broadway extension, or I should say up the Broadway extension. And there was, I don't know what you call it, when they were digging up, there's, I think it's at 122nd, there's a number of electrical towers there. He says when they were dealing that, they found something that looked like a parquet floor.
Yeah,
they did not
I remember
know.
that, yeah.
And he said they have some of that at the Capitol. I don't know exactly where. You have to ask. He said, but they were digging, getting ready to put in these electrical towers and things like that. He said, a parquet floor? And
nobody to this day can identify
explain,
where it came from or why it was there.
Yeah, but he said, I've seen him. We've chased him down the the Broadway extension. I said, whoa.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Well, we got to take a break. We're going to come back with part 2 in just a bit. Hang on. Don't miss part 2. It's coming up.
It's football season, and we're number 1.
Come join us at Louie's Grill and Bar.
We have something for everybody. Burgers, wraps, salads, pizzas, wings, and of course, plenty of your ice-cold favorites. At Louie's, we're in your neighborhood.